You're pretty blurry. I don't know what's going on.
Hey, what's up, guys? Happy Tuesday, happy Tuesday. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new into this channel, my name is Mamadou Diallo, and today, like every single Tuesday, we go live, and it's all about Airbnb gems. Me, my guy Hung, and I'm
Marta.
blanking on her name. Marta
Marta.
Miner. I am so sorry, guys. I'm blanking her name. Just came back from the gym. Don't take that upon me. But every single Tuesday, we go live, guys, and we provide value to you. Everything about Airbnbs, whatever you need. If you bring your listings, we'll audit it. If you bring your deals, we'll underwrite it. Even if you have sellers, sometimes we'll have a show where we'll literally call you leads. But today is specifically to go over. So this is part 2 of the last week. If you missed it, last week we went on and we did what is called the listing audit. And it was about showing you the mistakes to avoid when you own an Airbnb, to avoid in your listings, and the best practices to do to maximize your return on investment. So again, if you're new into this channel, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe, please leave a comment below. And I will let Marta introduce herself. What's up, Marta?
Hey, I know my name is so hard to remember. You struggle with it. I know. But anyway, thank you for the introduction. And yes, last week we had a lot of fun not underwriting, but auditing a listing that I think is just perfect example of how you can maximize an amazing location and make so much more money just by making small tweaks to how you furnish it and what kind of people, what things people want to see in Airbnb in order to spend high dollar on it, right? So today is second part of this, and I'm going to go into presenting mode unless you want to talk about anything else before we start presenting.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready?
Well, Mr. Hung, let's have Hung introduce himself.
Oh, yes, Mr. Hung.
Okay, first off, how's my mic?
Look good, bro.
Okay, it's pretty good.
All right, while it's still good, hey guys, I am doing a little bit of hosting here in Orlando with some sub-2 friends that came into town. Caroline and Samsung and Tyler of the Bass Bros. Actually, they just finished. I'm taking them to a theme park, and so we're out here. But yeah, my name is Hung, for those of you who don't know me, and I specialize in short-term rental and relocation agency bookings. And if there's anything that I know is that right now a lot of people are asking me if short-term rental is still a thing, and for sure it's definitely still a thing. Even if that's not the case, there's other avenues that we'll be talking about as well. And where that starts is in being well designed and being well set up and furnished, so that way you have the best possible chance. And that's what Marta was talking about the last time that we were on here.
Let's go, Mr. Hung. All right, guys. So just in case you're wondering, why the hell am I listening to these 3 knuckleheads when it comes to Airbnbs? Number one is because probably combined, just us 3, we probably own over 30 Airbnbs. Just combined, us 3. That's number one. Secondly, we have the experience. We know how to go get these properties off market. Third, we know how to manage, help you with designing and furnishing. Fourth is that we actually know how to raise the private capital. So you get all those tips and tricks with us because we actually do the business. That's the reason why you're listening to these 3 knuckleheads here, in case you're asking yourself the question. So please make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Don't miss out. This is every single Tuesday that we go live for this right here. Okay, guys. So again, today we're gonna go over. We're gonna do part 2, Marta. So Marta is going to do a screen share. Last week, what she did is she found a listing in a really high-end type of area in California, so she can maybe do a little recap and then move on to the next where we left off. And so, guys, listing auditing is basically just showing you what that person could do to literally go from, I think right now they're charging $500 a night. And with Marta's tips and tricks, they could literally take their Airbnb from $500 a night to I think 1,500 or 2,000 a night, if I'm not mistaken. So Marta, take on the stage. Let's make this. Let's do this.
All right, perfect. Yes, let me present this. This is a beautiful listing. I love it. I'm going to go back to the beginning to kind of share a little bit about the listing, because it's so worth it if you missed the first part of the podcast. This is their first picture, right? It's a beautiful, beautiful location in Newport Beach. And properties like that go for, $1,000, $1,500 per night. This particular property owner or landlord is charging about $500 per night. So what we were talking about is, what can you do to be able to get that high dollar, right? And number one is, first of all, you have to hire a professional photographer, because this place, the pictures were taken, you can tell, by an amateur, because they don't know their angles. The table is the very first thing you see.
Amateur.
She emphasizes the amateur.
Yes. Well, when you have a property like that, I'm sorry, but it's worth to spend $500 and get a professional in there. Even with the furnishing they currently have, they would be able to take better photos. Okay. So let's just scroll through them real quick so you guys can see, like, the living room, kitchen. We suggested brightening the place up, replacing some of the dark furniture with lighter colored furniture, replace the older coffee tables, and all the tables here, all the chairs are brown, brown, brown on brown. It's not inspiring. It doesn't say beach rental, right? Like, I don't know if this place is in Michigan or where it is, because it doesn't really say anything with the decor. So let's go through, because we kind of talked a little bit about the outdoor and living room, kitchen, and let's go into the bedrooms, because this is gold as well. So the first bedroom we talked about a little bit. When you don't know you're on the beach, like, can you really tell? First of all, I don't know what century you were in. Like, obviously it's a little bit outdated with the brown carpet, right? Like, we don't want to put brown carpet in our rentals, because anybody going in there is thinking, I don't know what's in that carpet, how many germs there are, and like, when was it cleaned last? So I stay away from that. Replace that carpet, put really beautiful flooring, even an expensive flooring. Like, I would put
especially if it's in a beach area too. Like, there's sand going in and out of the house. Definitely something you don't want to see on there.
Yeah, and it's so hard to maintain and clean, So I would replace the flooring. But what I said in the first listing audit is that I'm going to present two options: do it on the budget, and do it, like, fully do it and kind of rehab this property a little bit. If you have the money, replace the flooring. If you don't have the money, put rugs to replace the color of this, and do something that's a little bit easier to clean. This is more like it's not a shaggy carpet, but it has some hair to it. It's going to capture all of that sand. It's going to grab all of it. It's going to be hard to clean. Next thing, the blinds. Like, that really dates this particular unit, right? It takes you back to like the 90s. And the really easy way to add color to any bedroom is, what I usually do is I put curtains on the side. It will bring a pop of color. You can create any colors you want. You can put yellow or blue, have it match your decor of your comforter. It brings your eye to it, so it doesn't look so boring. And it also serves a purpose. Like, I personally put blackout curtains in all my units and all my bedrooms at my Airbnbs, because I want my guests to feel very comfortable, sleep in, like, relax, sleep in. You're going to be happier. You're going to leave me a better review, right? So that's what we talked about. With the bedding, it's all a little bit outdated. If you just go on Amazon, Wayfair, you can find so many beautiful sets of bedding. All you need to do is type in, beach comforter or beach comforter set or whatnot, and it will pop up with 100 at least, right? And it's more modern and updated and fresh. But if you don't know, if you're not really like a high-end decorator and you don't know how to do that, just replace it with white. White will always get the job done. Everybody loves white. All the high-end hotels, Ritz-Carlton, everybody, they use white. White is clean, fresh, and people know that you've changed it, right? Because it would show dirt if it wasn't clean. And then
For sure.
Yeah, go ahead, Hung.
No, I was just saying, no, for sure. Like, that's exactly right. And a lot of people ask me, like, oh, why don't you get something that hides the dirt a little bit more? But honestly, if you're trying to get top end dollar, the people that are going to these places expect or have a high set of expectation and quality control. And so a lot of our beddings and sheets and stuff like that, we use all natural cotton and linens and stuff like that. That's one thing that we definitely don't cheap out, because if you know your market and you know your avatar, then it's really worth the ROI to provide those for the guests.
100%. Guys, you have to be like, you have to be a professional, right? You cannot do this business if you don't learn who your customer is and learn your market, because people in Maryland don't have the same taste as the people in Florida. The people in Florida don't have the same taste as the people in California. So that's really important. So what you're saying is know who you're serving, because you're in the hospitality business. So who's your customer? And you gotta like put yourself in their mind in order to do this right. So that's really good, Marta.
Yeah, and you also have to, just going back to what Hong said, we're talking here about people who are willing to spend $1,500 per night.
Yeah.
So, okay, they're going to be comparing this to staying at Ritz-Carlton, Four Seasons, right? Because that's probably about that price, $1,500 to $2,000 per night. So if I'm going to spend that much money, I want it to look very similar and make me feel similar. I want to make sure that it's clean, it's fresh, it's modern, it's updated. That's what you have to look at. Now, if your avatar is not that, then maybe you can get away with this. Obviously, they're renting it for $500. Somebody's coming in. But last time, I think me and Mamadou talked about it. Like, I wouldn't probably pay $500 for it. You know, like, I mean, in reality, we'll go to the next picture and you see it's a little bit too outdated for, you know, even if you're charging $200 per night, people want to feel like they're going to a fresh, clean hotel, right? That's what they want to feel in the bedroom.
100%.
So going back to like decorating tips in this room, first of all, the picture is taken from a really bad angle. That's why professional photography is the best money you will spend outside of decor, because he's going to see better angles of this room, right? Then we talked about the dresser. I personally don't put big mirrors like that. I just hang mirrors or do like wall mirrors that you can stand against the wall. But I usually try to put television sets in as many bedrooms as I can. We talked about it last time. So let's go through all these bedrooms, because this is kind of a little bit of a repeat of what we did in the previous episode. But let's go to the next room and see what else we can find here, okay? So here you go. Another very sad bedroom, right? Like, it's just really like more of a dorm room, in my opinion. It's not a $1,500 rental. Same exact advice I would give to this about this bedroom. Like, I would decorate it with white, beautiful bedding and throw some pillows out there with like maybe coral, blue, anything that resembles beachy colors, right? Put maybe a little bit lighter color furniture that makes me feel like, like more neutral. This is a little bit too heavy, too brown. It would be beautiful if you were in a mountain home. You can get away with this. Right? Like, even though it's outdated, you can get away with it in a cabin, but you really can't get away with it at the beach. The brown carpet and the blue comforter stand out so much, right? Like, I don't feel it's very inviting. I don't know about you guys, but like, do you feel like, oh, I can't wait to get to this place and just like relax in this bed?
Yeah, hell no. That's what I told you. Even 500, I think they're asking too much. I wouldn't pay them 500 to come and sleep. But this reminds me of a hotel that I booked once. I forgot what the freaking name is.
Super 8?
I think Suits, Holiday Inn and Suits or something.
Yeah, there's a lot of, that's a lower end hotel brand, which has its ways as well. But personally, like, I haven't seen a hotel that has blue or brown bedding anymore. Like, they're trying to like kind of go with the higher end look now, even in lower priced hotels. Next thing that I'm very particular about, and what I always do, is I put lamps on my nightstands, because when you go into bed, some people like to read in the evening or just sit there, watch TV or scroll on their phone, and they don't want to just have the overhead lighting on, right? So you have the 2 nightstands, but there's no lamps. What I also do in all of my Airbnbs is I provide lamps that actually have USB ports in them, so people can plug in their phone and they're really happy about it. And I sometimes actually even leave chargers as well. It depends on your clientele, right? If you're paying $1,500 per night, chances are good they're not going to take your chargers. And even if they do, it's a little nice souvenir and they're not that expensive. I don't care. They can take it. But it provides that extra convenience for them, you know? So as I was sharing before, is like when I go through all my Airbnbs and I furnish them, I always think about what is going to make them possibly upset or what can they complain about. I think ahead of time, because when it comes down to review, I don't want them to have to think of something like, oh my gosh, I forgot my phone. I was in a bad mood all day. Like, here you go. In case you forgot your charger for your phone, here is the charger. If you forgot toothpaste, here's the toothpaste. Like, I strategically place stuff to give people better experience before they even run into any issues. There are no issues at my Airbnbs. You know, if you forgot something, it's already there. So with this bedroom, it looks the exact same. The next one I think is possibly a kid's room. Let's see. Oh no, it's a bathroom. Okay. So with the bathroom, it's also really bad picture, right? Like you can't really see very well, but because it's dark, like what I would do is I would probably put like a really nice orchid or some kind of a plant to add some color to it, maybe a pink or blue or even white, and freshen it up. And what I usually also do is I put like a little gift basket that maybe has some towels, so some toiletries, just to make it look like more of a high-end hotel. That's what they would do. They would leave something like that on the counter, right? Like on the base here of the sink. I also
that little turtle frame looks looks horrible.
It's really sad looking, right? Like, yes, they got like a beach theme, but it's color-wise, it's not bright. It doesn't pop. It's not centered over anything, right? Like it's on the side of the towel rack and it doesn't really fit or match or anything. So you have to be strategic with how you put your like all your decor is very strategized. Like when you hire a decorator, right? When you're doing it yourself, just look at examples of what other people do maybe before you decorate your unit if you're not hiring a professional.
Liliana has a great question. So Hung, have you ever seen like what is the thing that guests I guess what is the thing that guests oftentimes steal, like little stuff, maybe hair dryer? Have you ever seen like, you know, people just leave with your stuff? Which I'm sure it happens. Like I know some people where every time they go to a hotel, they leave with all the soaps.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think the better question is, what haven't they stolen? Like I mean, a lot of times we have like extra profit margins in our cleaning fees, so that way we use it for, you know, like to replenish supplies and stuff like that. Unless like a significant amount is gone at the same time, then we will, you know, start inquiring for to resupplies, you know, those sort of stuff. But you know, we've had hair dryers stolen. We've had you know, our blankets, the ones that we have for like a feature blankets, those have been taken. And so those things that are more significant stuff like that, we make sure that we have it in there where, you know, it would be an extra charge. But a lot of times, like those can be easy fixes. Literally, if you don't want someone to steal something, you nail it into the wall or you screwdriver into the wall, and that should solve the problem most of the time. Now, Marta says a really great point, which is putting extra things in there for when people forget. So, like for instance, like the charger, it's one thing. I personally don't really put chargers out there like that, just because it's something that like someone would just pick up, which I don't, you know, it's not that I care that they pick it up, but it's just that it's annoying to kind of have to always replenish it. For me, I'd rather have something that's more beneficial, whereas like it's toothbrush, toothpaste, lotion, you know, like stuff like that, to where it's something that you know, personal hygiene stuff that they forgot to bring that we can provide. Like for instance, I'll tell you one thing. I went to this. I don't know if you guys ever went to a hot pot restaurant, but there is this one brand of hot pot in Dallas called. They're called Heidi Lao. They're like a high-end hot pot, all-you-can-eat, you know, Taiwanese brand. And what the thing is, everything looks amazing. The food is amazing, right? But the really like wow factor is going into their restroom. They have all the personal hygiene stuff that you can you can even
Oh, wow.
think of or
Yeah.
don't think of. They'll have floss in there. They have a toothbrush in there. They have toothpaste in there. They have a floss. They have men's hygiene. They have women's personal hygiene. You have tampons. Like they have
Damn.
pads. They have makeup remover. Everything in their
Restroom.
bathroom.
That's
And so
crazy.
in their restroom. And so like literally, you don't remember it for the food, even though it's amazing. I remembered it for all the like extra little things because like when you eat, like things get stuck in your teeth, right? And so like they get like little, those things to get the food out of your teeth, but like little things like that. So if you can add those things to there where you expect that they will not bring something or whatever the case may be, that's something that will really leave a lasting impression.
Yeah.
That restaurant, Hung, when you go to the restroom for number 2, do you clean your own butt or do they have like a
I'm surprised there's no one that just a hand doesn't just come out and do that for me. But it's really amazing. But it's stuff like that really allows it. And honestly, if you think about it, you have to go to some of these high-end hotels and places and see what it is that they're doing, right? Like I've been to the Hilton, we've been to the Marriott. When you go into their lobby, what's the first thing that hits you? It's like the senses, right? Like I don't know what it is, but it just smells amazing. It smells like $1 million in there, right? And so like for us, the things that we do too, it's like we have these little wall plug-in for breeze. And we put it right in the front of the entrance. And so with the first thing they open, like it just blasts them with that really nice scent. And that just really, helps with setting the stage for how everything is. Like, it's just little things like that.
That is a great tips and trick because hotels are your direct competition. So going on these high-end hotels just for fun to see what they're doing right and literally just copying the model. Do you do the same thing, Marta? Like, do you go and
I mean, I personally, when I travel, I stay at both like really high-end properties and I also stay at high-end hotels. So I always I look how they're updating things because things change and new things become available and new technology becomes available. And I always pay attention to that because all of my rentals are high-end rentals. So I compare myself to a place like a Ritz-Carlton. So what Hong was saying, like for him, depending on how much you're paying for the unit, it's a little bit annoying to maybe put those chargers in your Airbnb. But I'm thinking if somebody's spending $1,500 with me and I spend $5 on a charger and I just have hundreds of them, to me, it's worth it because I want that customer to feel like this is very high-end property that they're in and very high-end service to me. Now, if I was renting my Airbnb for $200 a night, maybe I wouldn't do that. But I 100% agree with him as far as toiletries and all those extras. That's for everybody. Everybody has the same needs. Whether you pay $100 and you forget your toothbrush or you pay $1,000, you have the same feeling, right? But because I cater to more of a high-end customer, I think of a lot of extras that I do. Because I'll tell you, when I travel and stay at very expensive properties, I have never run in yet to a property owner or landlord or host that has provided that to me. So I want to stand out. I want to be different,
And then also you got to keep in mind, if you're having those type of if your property is run the right way, the type of customers that you cannot attract are not the type of customer that will steal little things. Like they have no time for that.
And you know what I do? What I do is I actually buy chargers that are very different. So they don't, because people say I confused it and I thought it was mine. Well, no, mine is like bright blue or bright green and it says Unit 101 on it. So you didn't confuse it. So if you took it, you stole it, which is okay. Some people will, that's their integrity, and I'll replace it. But I try to avoid stealing by making it like I label it. I do something that they know for a fact they're stealing and not just confused whether it was theirs or not, So go ahead.
No. Let's move on to the next picture.
Let's move on to the next one because this one is gold to me.
Holy moly!
Right? This is kids' room. So, and how do you know it's a kids' room? Because it has 2 twin beds and a picture of like something. It's really outdated, but it's something for the kids, right? And I'm just thinking, what an underutilized room. When you're coming into this room, like, do the kids want to stay in this room and play or do anything? No, there's really nothing in there for them. First of all, what I would do is I probably would put at least one bunk bed in here to maximize the space. Maybe there's room to put 2 bunks. I don't know how big this room is because, it's not a professional photographer. I don't know. But if there is a way you can squeeze in multiple beds in the room, especially for kiddos, you will be able to get more people. So maybe there's 2 couples traveling and each of them have 2 kids. Then there you go. And they're having a slumber party every night and having fun, Right. Secondary, you have to make it more kid friendly and fun. Like, so you can play with so many cool colors, especially in California. You can do a Disney theme, you can do Iron Man, you can do dolphins, like whatever. There's so many fun things you can do and make it a theme. I love staying at properties where they have themes like that, because like each time I stay, I go to a different one. Oh, I like this theme this time. And this time I'm going to do, whatever. People love that. They'll fall in love with it and the kids will fall in love with it. So before you even head on your trip, mom can show this picture and be like, look, we're going to this, Johnny, this will be a great vacation. And Johnny's now excited and the whole family's excited. But when you show your kids this picture, are they excited to go to the vacation on the beach? No, it's a really sad room. So upgrade it with, bright, fun comforters for the kids with whatever theme you decide to go with. I would maybe even I do PlayStations in kids' rooms. I know not everybody will do that, but if you can provide some fun entertainment, put a TV.
That's a huge plus.
What's that?
That's a huge plus, I said.
Yeah. Games. If you don't want to buy, if you don't want to do electronics, at least games. And you have to display them, show them like, hey, I have all these games for you kids. We can play games if it's raining outside. Now, me as a mom of a 4-year-old, and I've traveled with my daughter since she was born pretty much, when I see a Airbnb and in a corner they have a basket and I see a bunch of toys in there, I'm picking that Airbnb. And why is that? Because when moms come in and they start unloading, they have groceries to unload and pack in bags and everything. They want to send their kid, go into that room, to pick out some toys and start playing, right? Like, give me at least half an hour. So when I see that, I'll pick that Airbnb just because of the toys. So that's a huge selling feature that people don't utilize usually, right?
That's a huge gem.
Yeah. Also, if you want to attract families as well, definitely you need a crib and a high chair, and put that in there as well, because there's a lot of families that come with, and the main reason they don't choose yours is because they put a crib or high chair feature in their search, and automatically, even if yours is the best one, it will not show up because you don't have one.
Whoa, that's a huge one.
Oh yeah. And for example, me traveling with my daughter, I would always ask that, and I would say 99.9% don't have it. And here's even worse. I would even ask them, if I ship it, would you accommodate it for me? Some of them would say no, which I was blown away how quickly people just don't want business. They don't want business. They don't want my money. So
yeah, people are crazy.
People are crazy.
I mean, for people who's paying, high-end $600, $700, we just had someone that paid $800 for 3 nights per night, $800 per night for 4 nights. They asked for a crib sheet, which we don't typically provide. They asked for a high chair, which we don't typically have at this property, and they asked for another pack and play, which we don't typically provide either. And so I was like, what the heck? Might as well get it for them. And so it's stuff like that. But you'd be really surprised to see what are some of the things that aren't offered that are available for people that they're looking for.
100%.
Well, and we talked about it before at the previous podcast, is that this is not just a product, it's a service. And if you're not willing to accommodate, you are losing a ton of business. I accommodate every need that comes my way unless it's so unreasonable, right? Because people will remember that, number one, they'll come back to you only because you are willing to accommodate. And I'm a mom who's traveling with a kid. There were so many people that denied me that I found a company that actually sets it up. And they would sometimes make it difficult, be like, no, she can't come in before 4 o'clock to set it up. I'm like, why are you making it so hard? So if for some reason you don't provide that, you have to have a link on your website or be able to provide it to a mom who's looking for that service. There are companies that will come and set it up for you. So because most people didn't have it, like I just found a few companies and I work with them, and they just provide not only toys, but high chairs, beach rentals, anything you want. There are companies. So if you don't provide it, you have to have ability to refer somebody, right? That will do that for your customers.
Okay.
Yeah, send them my way, Marta. That sounds interesting.
Yes. I forgot what there are because now my daughter's 4.5. She doesn't need it, but I think it's crib equip or something like that. I'll find out for you and I'll send it because I stopped working with them about a year ago. I don't need it, but I spend major cash on these people, and they make it so easy for you, right? They'll come in, they'll set it up, they'll bring toys, books, anything you want. I'm just saying it's an underutilized thing for a host. Like if you're a host, why would you can provide that, hide it in the closet, and the mom doesn't have to spend that extra cash. That's a huge benefit to a traveler.
If you're watching this in the future, we'll add that link in the descriptions below as well if you need those services.
Yeah, I can even look it up by the end of the call and let you know. So this is probably a primary room, right? Because it looks really like awesome compared to the rest of them. But once again, we're talking, it's slightly outdated. I think there's a little bit of idea now that like, okay, let's put some beachy theme in there. So finally they maybe like realize like we do want to have some beach stuff, but it's not bright, it's not fresh. There's no lamps once again. So you have a nightstand, but no lamps. So what I would do is once again, curtains will add some color. I would replace the pictures above this bed with something brighter and like pop of color, white bedspread and like really beautiful pillows. Spend a little bit of money on your primary room. And also what I do, and I don't know about you guys, but because that's my pet peeve, is I always put king size bed in the primary room if I can fit it. If I can fit it, I'll put it in. If not, then that's fine. But I myself will not stay in the queen. So I've actually seen some Airbnbs that I really love, but because it was a queen, I'm not going to pay for it. And why is that? A high-end person, like somebody who's spending $1,500 per night, probably has a king size bed in their house, and most likely it's a very like high-end bed, very comfortable bed. So now you're telling me to go on vacation and have less comfort than I have at home, and that's not a selling point for me.
Where is the best? I guess let's say somebody maybe they just don't know where to get those. They just don't know where to get those type of beds from. Like where is the best resource to get those beds?
So I personally do a lot of business with Amazon.com, unless you have like a local provider that you can work out a deal with. I purchased a lot of bed frames from either Wayfair or Amazon or even Ashley Furniture. And same thing with bedding, and Hong can chime in, but for me, I've had really great luck with just bedding purchasing from Amazon or Wayfair. But Hong, do you have like a preferred vendor?
Yeah, so just like Marta here, we love our high-end vendor, Amazon.com. There's a company that's called Zionist. They have amazing like beds for I think like maybe $200-$300. But if you're ordering a large amount at one time, for 4 or 5 beds, you can actually go to a wholesale local store that purchase these high-end mattresses from Purple, Sleep Number, or all of the other high brands. And because a lot of times these high brands, they have a return policy of like 90 days or 120 days. And all it is that it maybe just doesn't fit the homeowner's room. And so when they bought it, they opened it and then they figured out, oh, wait, it doesn't fit my room. Then they return it. Well, those are considered used. And so a lot of times they sell it to these wholesale companies, and these wholesale companies will sell it to you for a much deeper discount. And you can find them on Facebook Marketplace. What's the other website? But Facebook Marketplace, you can definitely find them. they're all these wholesale, and it's the same thing with TVs as well. And you'd be surprised what you find there, and they're really, really great. Some of them might be still in the bag and all that good stuff.
Man, bro, we gotta have like a bomb flying, or maybe something like when you drop this kind of bombs, we need to have something flying over. So guys, if you just tuned in, make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, guys. Every single Tuesday we go live, talk about all things Airbnbs, and we bring you all type of tips and tricks. But also, guess what? We do provide the services if you need them. Right now, we have a lot of people interested in the service. Do it for you, right? Actually, it's funny, guys. I spoke to somebody yesterday that I know, he's a nurse. Super, super interested in getting into Airbnb. The problem is no time, doesn't understand, doesn't even want to deal with like texting people or whatever, but he does have the money. He would love to, like, set up an Airbnb, but have somebody just do it from A to Z. Find me the property. Can you find me the property? Can you design, furnish it, and then can you manage it? And all I do is spend the money and I get the cash flow. And that is called the do for you model, guys. So if you're a working professional and you in that type of scenario, in that type of situation, I guess, and you're that type of avatar, reach out to us, guys. You can reach out to me through Instagram. You can reach out to Marta. You can reach out to Hung. You can reach out to us through Instagram, TikTok, all the platforms, guys, YouTube, whatever. Just DM us and we got you. But that's, bro, you gotta stop dropping bombs like that, man. Hung is always dropping freaking bombs, bro.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, so going back to this picture, is there anything else, Hung, that you would do? Like for me, like it's just really bare bones. And I feel like also another thing, TV in a main bedroom is a must for me. Never, ever would I rent a bed, an Airbnb without a TV in the primary room. You have to have at least 2 TVs, minimum 2, for me to even consider renting you. But really, I prefer that it's in every bedroom. When we go with a bunch of kids, like my husband has 4 kids and we travel as a big, big family. Like I can't have everybody watch one TV. So that's a must for me. I would also add something really pretty here, like a little basket or some, with blankets. Like I always have blankets, make people feel cozy. Now you have to wash them, keep in mind. But I always add pops of color and like that plush feeling by adding blankets, pillows, throws, things like that. I would probably, if there's room, put like a little chair in the corner, because like think to yourself, like when you're getting undressed at night and whatnot, where do you put your clothes? Like you just throw it somewhere, right? Like on a chair or whatever. Not everybody, but I see guys do that, Or if you have something else, you want to sit down for a second, you don't want to sit on the bed. Like I try to always have another seating if possible, if there is room in each of the bedrooms, but especially the primary.
That is huge for somebody like me. I throw all my stuff, like my clothes, I throw it away. But that seating you're talking about, Marta, I love to sit there and just open a book.
Yeah.
Like that is not next to the. When I went and stayed at Hung's Airbnb in Orlando, that was one of the things I really appreciated. In the master bedroom, you literally had, I think you had 1 or 2, but it was really comfortable. You could just, sit there, you do whatever, and then I can just throw my clothes too, like you said. I don't have to.
Yeah, exactly. And also, I put in the chat, if you can share with everybody the name of the company. It's called.
It's right there. You can see it. Babycube.com. It's right on the screen.
And there are other companies depending on where you're traveling. I've traveled pretty much anywhere in the country, even in small towns. They were able to provide that service, but there are other companies as well.
Nope.
So before we move on, anything else you would do in this room, Hong, that I haven't mentioned?
In this room?
Yeah.
Just throw everything away.
I knew you were going to say that.
Throw everything away. And honestly, a lot of times what we'll do when we come into a property is, let's say you don't want to replace the cabinets. You'd be surprised. A lot of things that like even long-term rental, right? Like what's the one biggest investment that you can do that will have the highest like value add in most people's opinion? It's literally just throwing paint on some surfaces, right? Like whether that's painting the whole house white, and that will make it much bigger and much more like luxurious, or repainting the cabinets so that way it matches your color schemes of what you're trying to do, right? And I didn't realize that human beings needed that many throw pillows, but it does help. And it really ties the whole room in together. And when Martha talks about getting blackout curtains, it doesn't have to be black. Like, it can be any other color. It just has to block out the sun.
Yeah.
So
No.
yeah, I mean, that's really the thing. But honestly, if someone is trying to go into this realm at this period of time, I really highly recommend. And I don't say this if I don't practice what I preach. It's literally going and and using a designer or someone that has at least an eye for color, because the last thing that you want to do going into this economy is to spend half, cut corners, and then not performing well than you actually would like it to. And because you already put the money in, and then you think that because you've already done it, and then you hear about all the things that's going on right now, then you kind of go with the crowd and just blame it on the exterior factor, which is people aren't traveling now, Airbnb is dead, X, Y, and Z. Here's the problem with saturation, right? The problem with saturation is that it's only a problem to those that are to the bottom percentage of listings that's on the market right now. When you're on the higher tier, it's
Right.
remember the 80-20 rule, right? Like 80% of all the bookings are going to be taken by 20% of the top listings, and
100%.
20 and then the rest it gets the crumbs, like it gets whoever's left, right? And so if you're going into this season and you're looking to do something like this, I would highly recommend that you find someone, whether it's us or someone else that you really trust, to figure out a color scheme or to figure out a design concept that really matches with the avatar of the people that's coming into that area and what they're expecting. And how you can actually do that is literally a quick tip. It's just to go on Airbnb or VRBO or whichever sites that is your market leader for the channel, and look at what's the highest rated listing in the area. Like, what does their design look like? How does their calendar look like? Is it booked out in the next month to 2 months, right? Like, if those criteria is hit, where high nightly rates, real booked out for the next month or two, and then it's in a gray area that of, like those things, literally you don't have to go and create something that's totally brand new, that's from Mars. You can just literally copy and paste that same concept and bring it to your own property. And so that way you can have a a really high quality listing that can compete in the market. Because right now, if you're thinking of cutting corners and not making sure that things are done right the first time, you will regret it, and then you're going to wonder why it's not performing. And it's not just because it's saturated, it's because you put yourself there.
100%.
And it's just like I say, I keep repeating, it's not just the product, it's the service. So you have to know how to service the customer really well, like that they want to come back to you. Because I've also seen rentals that are amazing and gorgeous and pictures are done well, and the host doesn't know what they're doing and they can't provide services. They don't know how to, like interact with the guests. So both of those things are extremely important in the market that we're heading into, because you rely very heavily on reviews. And if you don't know how to take care of your customer, this is a hospitality business, right? If you don't know how to take care of them, but you have an amazing, beautifully designed property, they're still not going to come back. They're going to leave a bad review. They may give you 5 for design or whatever, right? But they will not give you many stars for your interaction with the guests. So it's both. It's a product and a service. 100% agree with that.
And honestly, what Marta is talking about too, it's like that's literally the low hanging fruit. People don't care that there's a problem with your listing, okay? Like they care how fast and how soon you act on it when they indicate that there's a problem. And so literally there's one thing that we have in our company of when things are going wrong. Literally, if they give us a problem, even if let's say there's a little bit of a smidge or they found a hair, I tell my team to overreact and tell them, oh my gosh, we're so sorry. This is not usually our standard, but we're going to make sure that we fix it right away. And we're going to give you guys an update of when we can get someone in there. Thank you so much for letting us know. And we're going to take care of it. Is there anything else that we can do for you at this time? X, Y, and Z, right? And literally one thing you can do is if they need to be out of the house, and if it's a big enough, mistake that you've done, just pay for dinner, pay for lunch, and that will literally just make it up for whatever it is that happened.
100%. Well, so guys, here's the thing. If you're like, hey, I'm not good with people, all this is a little bit too much, blah, blah, blah. The reality is you are in the hospitality business. So either you're good with people or you outsource it to people that are good with people, but you cannot just wing it, right? I'll give you guys an example. Yesterday, I was negotiating an Airbnb with a seller, and the seller is going through, he's about to start law school. And he's thinking, I want to sell my house, but I'm really tempted to turn it into Airbnb. And I'm like, okay, great. You can go ahead and do that first and try it. Once you start hating your life because guests are hitting you up at midnight and whatnot, then call me back and we'll take over. And then I explained to him what I mean. I said, listen, right now, it's not just the regular real estate market that is getting hit as far as like fix and flips and all that fun stuff. That's not what, or just listings on the market. Airbnb is also getting crushed, but only the unprofessionals are getting crushed. The people that are amateurs and the people that really don't know what they're doing, because they shouldn't be handling it themselves in the first place. They should just invest in it and let somebody that is good with people, that is good in the hospitality business, manage their Airbnbs, design it, furnish it. So his idea was, let me just buy a couple of couches, which he had already started buying. This is an Airbnb Florida. And I was like, okay, great. You could do all of that, or we could come in, and he didn't even know what the word design means. And I told him, this is what we're going to do when we come into the property. If we take it over, you let us do everything, and then we just give you a little bit of the cash flow, and you just move on with your law school. We design it, we furnish it, blah, 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 and we show you how we'll outcompete the people that you're competing with basically in that area. And he was like, I haven't thought about that I have to like spend all that time and energy entertaining people. Like, you have to. And if you can, guys, that's why we're here. We provide those services as well. So if you're like, listen, that's not me, I don't want to deal with all of that, I don't want to respond to anybody. Number one, guys, just like Hung, he hires virtual assistants from CallStar, guys, to automate his response to the guest, right? He doesn't respond to his own guests. Those virtual assistants actually handles that. So they're trained for it. If you're looking for virtual assistants for that, please hit up CallStar. But secondly, guys, if you need the services in terms of like, okay, I'm not good with this, but how about I just outsource it to somebody who's good at it and I don't have to deal with it. I have the property, I enjoy the cash flow, but I don't have to deal with none of that stuff. Because otherwise, it's the same thing if you get into wholesaling and you're like, I hate talking to people. Oh, well, you're going to have to. I'm sorry. You're going to have to come out of your shell and learn how to communicate and talk to people. I don't care if you start by paying PPC ads and inbound leads. At some point, you're going to have to pick up the phone and get with somebody on the phone. So you might as well get over it. Or, no, I'm not good at it. Let me partner up with somebody that is good at it. Let me spend the money on the marketing and let them do all the talking. Right? Regardless, you still have to talk to people and deal with people. So it's the same thing with this business. I think today they had enough value, guys, to be honest with you guys.
Yeah.
This was more than enough. Guys, let us know in the comments, please, if you're watching this in the future. What is your takeaways? And another thing is, let us know what you want to hear, what topics you want to hear, because we'll actually create content around it. So just let us know. Please make sure you follow these two beautiful people on Instagram at Marta_Miner. That's M-I-N-E-R, because I know I pronounced it wrong. And then Hong Mai, my guy Hong Mai. By the way, if you follow Hong Mai, just tag him on food. This guy eats. Don't say him like that. This guy eats. And I promise you, man, if you go in the Florida area, if you're looking for an Airbnb in Orlando, Hong is the best guy you could ever reach out to. Like, this guy just knows his stuff when it comes to hospitality. He knows his stuff around people. He just knows how to welcome people and show you, like, literally give you like a traveling map. Like when I went to Orlando, like he just handed out. I didn't have to, because I'm a lazy type of traveler. I don't do any research before I travel. I'd rather somebody do it for me, give it to me, and then I just go and do the fun stuff and enjoy my days, right? But there's some other people. Anyway, any last words, guys, that you want to leave? Let's start with Marta. Any last words, Marta? How do they get in touch with you? How do they follow you? what value can we provide to these people, and then if they have any questions, where can they DM you?
Yeah, so we're going to do this every week, and different weeks we're going to talk about different things. Like, I love hospitality. That my degree is in hospitality and hotel management. So customer service and hospitality is like everything to me. We're going to talk about that sometimes to kind of give you guys helpful hints of like, this is what you can do, and hit tips that, you know, to manage your own business if you don't want to use somebody else. If you have no idea about hospitality, I really highly recommend you outsource that, because that's how your rating and your 5-star rating depends on your skill in hospitality. And as far as decor and things like that, we're going to talk about it. If you guys have listings, please submit it to us. You can send it to me directly at Marta_Miner on Instagram, or send it to Mamadou or Hong, and we will go through them and kind of, you know, sometimes what we're also going to do is we're going to point out a really good listing and show you what they're doing well. So you can learn from that as well.
100%. 100%. So actually, guys, we're going to bring some of our own listings. So I have one currently. We're about to wrap it up. We'll bring some of our own listings and show you guys, just in case you think we're not doing this business. We actually do this business. So we're not just some gurus, we're some durus, because we do it. All right. Look at how Hong is buff, guys. Tomorrow I'm going to the gym to catch up, man. Look at that. So Hong, any last words?
Good.
Yeah. So first things first. The thing about the itinerary in Orlando, if you guys are here, unfortunately that is true, and I am a fat kid at heart. I just so happen to you know, work out well enough so that way I can eat whatever I want. But honestly, you know, I had a really life-changing event like happen yesterday, to where you know, Pace and a lot of other people, Abraham and you know, Munif and Sam and a bunch of us, we decided, and Brad as well, Bad Roman, shout out to you, my guy, literally helped us coordinate to do a skydiving event yesterday morning. And
yeah, that was
it was something that I never thought I'd be able to do, skydive out of a perfectly working plane. And it made me realize is that like, I've never, like, my hands never felt more and more sweaty than my entire life. And so the thing was that I had so much fear coming into it. And I got a really great, you know, advice from Pace, which is, he said all he did was just listen to the professionals. He listened to his instructor, who had 30,000 jumps, right? He had 30,000 jumps. And he says, any other thought that was from myself, I let that go. And I only listened to the person that had the experience before me, which is my instructor. And I only listened to him. And whenever a fear came up, I suppressed it down and then revised and went back to the advice that I got from the instructor. And that really helped me when I first got on that plane, because the main thing before you even got on that plane was you have to make a decision, right? Because if you don't make a decision, you're going to negotiate yourself out of it. I don't negotiate with myself.
100%.
When I make a decision, I tell myself what to do, right? I am my person, but I am living in my own body, and my body is not it's not in charge of me, right? And so when I got on that plane, it was the same concept. And as it got higher and higher, I started to like get more scared, but then I did breathing exercises to calm me down. And as we got to our you know, elevation, they opened up the doors, and I gotta tell you, I've never been more scared. Like, yeah, I won't curse because I don't know, you know, what we're allowed to do here, but I was scared like S-less, right?
Oh my gosh.
We lost
As
him.
he was getting good, Hung, we lost him. He's on his phone, guys. That's perfectly fine. So here's the thing, guys. Oh, there you go. He's back. It's fine. He's gonna finish his point another day. So, guys, listen. The point that Hung was trying to drive home is that I noticed, guys, I coach a lot of people. Marta does, Tommy does. We coach a lot of people, and here's the deal. Now realize a lot of people are caught up on trying to be perfect, trying to figure everything out, right? And so they never actually take action. They freeze and they never actually take action. Guys, today I was literally, I was meditating and then I'm reading. I'm very spiritual. So I read, I'm a Muslim, so I read the Quran a lot, but I've also studied the Bible. And I ran into this verse where it says, this is Romans in the Bible, guys, Romans 15:7. It says, he does not require your perfection, he meaning God, because he is the only one who can be completely without sin. So just so you know, perfection is God's attribute. Human beings cannot be perfect. In Islamic, we talk about the same concept, right? Human beings are forever. You are created with imperfections. That's for life. You're created from dust, from sperm. You can never be perfect. Never. And so when we go through life, we try to be like God himself, the one that created the universe and all that fun stuff. You can call it whatever you want, guys. You can call it the universe, whatever you want. But the reality is the perfection attribute only belongs to God. And so if you're trying to be perfect, good luck. You will never be perfect. So just start. Imperfect action, and don't worry about the mechanics. That's where people freeze and they never take action. They're like, I'm lost. No, you're not lost. You have an overload of information and you feel like you need to know from A to Z in order to start something in your life. And so nothing never changes, because 2024, you're still in that same space. Do not try to be perfect. Nobody's perfect. Perfection is a myth. Only God is perfect. And with that, we're going to leave you guys. And I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I appreciate you, Marta. I appreciate you, Hong, guys. And be sure to look out next Tuesday. We're going live again, 2 p.m. EST. So hit the notification bell. If you need any help on your Airbnbs, guys, I promise if you bring your lead or your deal on our live, you put it in the chat, we'll help you. We'll bring you on stage, answer a question, whatever you need. Just reach out. All right, guys? And until next time, Marta, boom, 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 boom. Guys, I appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Thank you so much, Marta. Thank you so much, Hong. Oh, nice.